So this popular local hangout is under new ownership, and we have the pleasure of being with Chuck today to talk a little bit about Loco Jo's, how they found it, and talk about menu and things like that. So first of all, tell us how did you find this and become owners?
A good friend of Nikki and I's is a contractor in Oak Island, and he gets up a lot of materials, of course, from Wilmington, and what he does. So he stopped into the restaurant that Nikki was running one day, and I get a phone call from her and said, "I need you to come over here." So I walked a couple blocks over, and she looked at me and she goes, "There's a place in Southport for sale that I think we need to go down and take a look at." I was like, "All right." So we came down right after COVID, and took our tour here, and actually toured the building right across the street from us. We're here, why not?
Absolutely.
So after a lot of back and forth, in about 11 months is what it took to get the deal done. We purchased this place, April it'll be 2 years since we purchased. June will be our second anniversary here. So that's how we found out about it. And of course, throughout the process, met Brian and Joanne and actually got, walkthroughs and what was actually established here. And of course, that compounded off of Joanne's mom's restaurant, Wise Cafe, which is epically famous down here. And
absolutely.
Nikki and I never had the pleasure to meet her, but that's kind of how all that came about. The menu is really, honestly, Brian handed me a handwritten copy of this is what sells and this is what doesn't. That board has since been upgraded, as you know, and made quite larger than it used to be.
Oh yeah.
That's the local secret here. That's the biggest thing. People eat here so frequently. We're only open 5 days a week. We see most folks 3 to 4 times a week. So they always steer right to that board. That kind of makes our job fun and stressful in a lot of different ways, because we work with a lot of great vendors. Bruce from Ridge Farms right up the street, of course, provides us with all our produce. So you get a random phone call, "Hey, I have this locally grown mushroom, I have these locally grown heirloom tomatoes." So you get a lot of really fresh local ingredients that you get to play with, and then they all end up on that board.
And together somehow.
And that's kind of the fun part. So that's when Nikki stays up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up to 6 or 7 text messages with ideas, and then I have to funnel all of that back into something that will actually work and be able to be produced. So that's kind of the fun part about it.
The other thing that we've enjoyed too is your creativity with cocktails. Whose ideas? Where does that all come from?
Both of us. When you look at more of your classic styled cocktails, old fashions, Manhattans, like the Last Word, things like that, that would be more of my influence on it. When you look at more of the coastal and tropical kind of things that you see,
seafoam margarita
and things like that, Nikki came up with that as a Christmas cocktail, and a few ladies came in and sat down and looked at her and said, "We're changing the name of this. This is now going to be the Seafoam Margarita, and it's going to stay on year round because we really enjoy it that much." So then you're out trying to source the ingredients that were supposed to only be available for that short time, but we worked it out. So a lot of that influences her. We both ran cocktail bars in the past, so we do have that background. Like I said, we were just talking about the bourbon and all that experience, but we're very familiar with all of that and have done that for years. So it was one of the things when we looked at this place, she was like, they never had spirits here. They only had beer and wine.
We absolutely appreciate your time. As you know, this has become our go-to, and we love it. And for you out there, hopefully you will be visiting Loco Jo's soon if you have not. And we appreciate your time, and we look forward to our next Brunswick Beat. You never know where you'll find us.